With France experiencing enhanced tension between Muslim and Jews, let's contemplate the possible aftershocks here in Canada. Amira Al-Gawabi is with the National Council of Canadian Muslims. She joins me in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Don.
Sad times. I'm just wondering, are you hearing people experiencing anti-Muslim backlash here in Canada as a result of the Paris incident?
So typically what happens after these sorts of incidents is that we do hear new reports of anti-Muslim incidents, whether there's discrimination happening in schools or workplaces, or whether there are incidents in public buses, public schools, etc. So we do see a sort of a spike in those types of incidents. But by the same token, we also hear stories of support being expressed to Canadian Muslims, or for example, when other issues happen abroad, you'll see that there are people who make it actually a point to talk to their Muslim friends and neighbors and colleagues to say, we know that this has nothing to do with you.
And you're hearing both as a result of this?
Yes, we are. We're hearing both of those. I mean, always there's concern, and we put out a community safety guide, just trying to let people know that at their schools or if at their mosques, to make sure that they are vigilant, that they do take precautions, and that they keep an eye out. We have heard of, in Paris, up to 50 anti-Muslim incidents happening against mosques there, from shootings to, pig's head, etc. So some things happening there. We haven't heard anything that serious happening in Canada, and that's extremely hopeful. However, if anyone does hear anything, we always encourage them to tell authorities, as well as to contact us and let us know.
Explain to our viewers, if you can, why a cartoon of this sort is so offensive. And I'm wondering if you think Canadian media should be in the business of publishing this out of concerns for their safety.
Well, I think the first thing that needs to be said is that even if someone finds these cartoons offensive, if someone finds them to be even racist or anti-Muslim, what's much more offensive to me and Muslims right around the world is anyone who would justify that offense to take the innocent lives of people. So that sort of violence in the name of Islam is far more offensive, far more disturbing, and must be condemned first and foremost before any other discussion can take place. So I think that needs to be said. However, if media outlets decide, out of a commitment to promoting maybe tolerance, understanding, cohesive societies where people's values and ideas are respected, that's a good thing. If people don't, but if people decide no, they want to publish the cartoons out of solidarity to say, freedom of expression is really important to us, then they should do that as well. I think that if publications or media outlets want to publish these to say that, I think that we stand with them because we agree. I mean, we all benefit from these sorts of freedoms. This is what makes our democracy so valuable and something that we cherish.
We see these arrests in Ottawa, and it brings up that question again. How do kids that seem so normal so recently become so radicalized so quickly? How does the Muslim community spot these problems? What more needs to be done to catch these kids before they get to where they're heading off to Syria to fight?
I think that's a question that everyone, community leaders to ordinary Muslims are asking themselves right now. I mean, I think that it has to be said that the victims of this kind of ideology are all of us, Muslims and others. As we saw in Paris, for example, the police officer that was shot, that was captured on video, he was a Muslim, a French Muslim. A man who was in the kosher supermarket who helped actually save Jewish customers, he was there as well, standing up against this kind of violence. So Muslims are also at the forefront of having to fight this. And that being said, I think what we're realizing more and more is that, we really need to come out with very strong strategies. In the fall, our organization, in cooperation with other groups, came out with the United Against Terrorism Handbook. That was a way to try to get into families' hands and community leaders' hands, sort of signs of what to look for. For example, if you're concerned that your child or your young high school student or your university student who everything seemed to be okay, suddenly they might be withdrawing, suddenly they have very strange ideas about the way they see the world. How do you identify that? What do you do? What sort of supports are in place? And I think this is a discussion that is really, really starting to get started in earnest within Muslim communities, in cooperation actually with federal authorities, with social service agencies. Right. I mean, there's so many pieces to this, and I think that it's something that Muslim communities have to face head on. They have to look for solutions, be part of the solution, and they need to look for partners within the wider society, because many of these young people are self-radicalizing, they're not doing it in the mosques. Because if many mosque leaders have actually called in the authorities when they found people to be expressing viewpoints that were just completely contrary to the teachings. So I think that it's really a big puzzle, and we're all part of it, and we need to figure out how to work together.
Sure is puzzling. All right, Amira, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.